Hello and welcome to Netflix vs. Cinema, the podcast that goes to the cinema every week, watches things, rates them out of 5, stays at home on various streaming platforms, watches things, rates them out of 5, and sees where your money would be better spent this week. Big stream or big screen? That is what we try and answer for you.
Let's get ready to rumble!
My name is Tosin and I am the host of the podcast. I live in a place called Bromsgrove near Birmingham in the middle of the United Kingdom. And joining me as always on the Isle of Wight, welcome back!
Hello.
Welcome back from your far east shenanigans. It is Shaun Harris. Welcome.
Hello.
Yes, Thailand, Japan, it's all been going off. It's been great. It's good to have you back, Shaun. Good to have you back.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and we will find out, because usually when Shaun comes back and he hasn't had it, because he's been too busy traveling to necessarily go to a cinema, he usually comes back and just sort of eats everything up. So we'll find out what you've been eating.
That's it. Yeah. Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
I mean, I did go on a couple of Godzilla, Ultra Godzilla thing. I don't know. They're only shorts and they're a ride. Do they count as movies? Probably not. Eh?
What do you say, like a ride?
So basically, so it's like a 360 cinema. So it's like, so you go and it's like you sort of sit in a big chair and it goes and then rocks about. It's like a 4D, but like huge monster. Really, really mega. You're like in a
like a theme park ride.
Yeah, theme park ride. Yeah.
I think those would have to put those down as a theme park ride, but it really makes me want to go to Japan now.
Yeah,
It makes me
they were pretty amazing. I've got to say, they were well worth it to go a few times because they were yeah. I don't know because we're doing other things, but that was probably one of the best days I've had. Is this sort of weird, crazy, mad amusement park. But I can tell you all about it later.
All right, good stuff. Was that Tokyo?
That was Tokyo, yeah. Well, it was a place called. It was outside of Tokyo a little bit, and people were quite impressed that I got there because I was like the only foreigner there.
Or the only non-Japanese person.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And joining us also on the Isle of Wight is Sharon Ballon. Hello, Sharon.
Hello.
Yeah, you been to any theme park rides? Isle of Wight, Big Godzilla?
No, not this week. I saw Nigel Farage on a live stream because he was live on the Isle of Wight, and that was as adventurous as it gets.
Oh, you lucky!
God.
I actually think those two things are probably equal in level of danger. I
did. It was just as a curiosity. We're like, what's going on there then? So yeah, we tuned in for live stream, and it was a bit like, okay, that's what's going on there.
that's who's landing on the island. All right, and also joining us from London, a London correspondent, Holly Nessling.
Hello.
You been on any theme park rides recently?
Oh, no. The ankle is still recovering. I am not up to theme park rides yet, alas.
Yeah, but trying to feed a cat medication, from what I hear, is quite hair raising.
It is remarkably like a theme park ride in some circumstances, yes. So, yes, I have been on theme park rides, crawling around my house trying to catch my cat.
All right, cool. Hello, Muffin. Oh, by the way, okay, and I'm thinking that we have to run, but Shaun, I'm getting from you, and I'm beginning to sort of get this whole thing about tangents and going off on a tangent, not being able to help yourself. But
that's it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, that's going. Yeah, that's getting worse. I think it must be age. Go all over the place.
Yeah. So Sharon. Okay, so you have a dog in your house right now on your lap called Muffin.
Yeah.
And every time you've been saying Muffin, something's been firing in my head, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I just said Muffin, and Muffin looked right at me. Huh. and what I realized is there's a show called Bluey. It is ostensibly a kids show, and there is a dog called Muffin in it. And Muffin is not the main character. Muffin is a cousin of the main character, but Muffin. Essentially, there are pages dedicated to Muffin and calling Muffin a queen because Muffin is the biggest diva that there is. Now I don't know if that was that, Sharon?
You're not wrong.
So I wasn't sure whether it relates to your Muffin, but every time you said Muffin, that just fired off in my head. But anyway, let us talk about what it is we have seen in the cinema. And we'll start off there because that's what we do. Shaun, you have come back. You have saved up your energy like a Super Saiyan, and now you're back. What have you seen?
Not quite so super energy, but probably would have catch up next week with a few things. But so I've seen Scream 7, and The Bride.
Scream 7 and The Bride, or The Bride,
and on streaming.
We'll do that. We'll do that in a second.
Okay, do that.
We'll do that in a second. Let's go do the rounds and find out what it is that we have seen in cinema. Right, cool. Sharon,
I have seen 3 films at the cinema. One I can't do. A repeat viewing of The Sinners.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to see it again on a big screen. And then I also saw Mother's Pride at the cinema and The Bride.
Okay. Cool. Scream 7. The Bride. Put it into a big ratings spreadsheet. Scream 7, The Bride, and Mother's Pride. And how about you, Holly? What have you seen?
I too have seen Scream 7.
Scream 7, cool, good stuff. I like this because with Shaun coming back, I'm like, we need to give Shaun, like, pride of place and everything like that. But it's good that people have seen other stuff as well. All right, and I have seen Hoppers, the new Pixar movie, and which I will not. Because I want to do 3 things and I want us to get out of here within an hour. So I'm going to push Hoppers to next week to give it its full review. But all I will say is go see it. It is crazy. Right. And okay, so what about at home? What have we seen? Let's go in reverse order. Holly.
I have seen Dracula, a love story.
Dracula, a love story. This is the Luc Besson Dracula.
It is indeed the Luc Besson Dracula.
Okay, cool. Sharon.
I have seen A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Ooh.
In its entirety, and a French film, but I can't remember the title. I think it's called The Taste of Things.
Oh, with Juliette Binoche.
Juliette Binoche, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that. Okay, Shaun.
Okay. Well, yeah, I've seen The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the whole lot, and well, I've got about 20 minutes of the last episode of Fallout.
Fallout's to go.
I did try to get it in, but I didn't quite manage. So.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It gives me a week to try and catch up with the entire second season of Fallout.
Oh, right. Okay, that's cool.
Before we talk,
because I mean, I've been watching. There's a couple of bits that I've rewatching because Amazon now has got From Dusk Till Dawn and The Hour of the Gun. So, but I've seen those.
Nice.
So.
And I, by the by, think, having watched From Dusk Till Dawn again recently, I think at some point it is worth a conversation about why From Dusk Till Dawn and Sinners are not actually like each other.
Good one.
I think IMAX cameras for one. But all right, cool. So let's kick off with Scream 7. So Scream 7, let's go with Holly. You said you've seen this, right?
I have seen this.
Okay, cool. So Scream 7, we'll let Holly, you explain what it is, then we'll wind Shaun up and let him go. So Scream 7.
Endeavour to. Scream 7 is the latest film in the Scream franchise in which Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and some of the other characters who haven't died yet. And we are we have an initial flashback to the or a moment from the first film, and we see some revisiting and think, gosh, what's going on? And then we go to Sydney's new hometown where she lives with her husband, her daughter, and her older daughter and her younger children who are not there, because that makes life easier, so you're not traumatizing young children, which is not great in such films. And lo, it appears as though Stu from the original film may or may not still be alive. And lo, there is some targeting of her daughter, and madness ensues, as is traditional in all Scream films.
Yep.
And lots of people get stabbed. I believe that is the full summary. Shaun, are there any other key points I've missed there?
Well, I've got to say, with the Scream films, I'm not heavily invested in Scream, so I don't really know. I couldn't even tell you one from the other. All I know is they're all a bit daft for me. I mean, the reason I went to see this is because there was a couple of friends and they wanted to see it, and they obviously have got all the nostalgia and all that. For me, I wasn't really. So I think your summary was perfect. There's like lots of blood and
there's a lot of blood,
lot of blood.
Die. Even, in quite British fashions, as is also traditional for Scream films. It follows in the classic pathway of all slasher.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. It really bugs me. They even say it in the thing. Make sure that bloody dead every time. That's my biggest bugbear. Why do you not make it? But
shoot them in the head.
Yeah, shoot them in the head. Make sure they're like, oh, I think I've shot them. Oh, yeah. Well, make sure you have double tap. But what I was going to say about this is I was really, really pleased. Like, only a short time into the film, I said, I reckon that's the boss.
Oh, that you reckon that's the villain?
Yeah. Did you get it as well, Holly?
Yeah.
Someone turned around to me and said, if that's the case, that's really weak script writing. So,
the thing about
I'll message
Scream,
you as to whether or not it's the same.
But the thing about Scream that I've always found is because Scream obviously started off as almost kind of like a meta commentary on slasher movies. It's a slasher movie, but all through the first Scream, if the first 2 or 3, if I remember correctly, they're commenting about the fact that this is a slasher movie, and if this is a slasher movie, this is what will happen next. When they brought it back with Scream 5, they did that as well, talking about legacy sequels, and this is what will happen next. And so they always kind of make it kind of clear who the bad guy is. I feel like in Scream, they're never really trying to hide who the bad guy is. They might try and throw you off, but like they'll be like, yeah, we know, we said it. Because I think even in Scream 5, there's a point at which one character says, who is he? He is probably the bad guy, and that ends up being the case. That probably ends up being the case.
What number's that, Toes? You sound like you're a bit of an aficionado of Scream movies.
I have seen one. I saw 1 and 2 in the cinema.
Okay.
Yeah, 3. That's the one where they go to Hollywood.
Absolutely no idea.
I think I saw that in cinemas. 4 is the one that Emma Roberts is in. That one I have watched like the last 10 minutes of.
Never
5
seen.
is when they brought everybody back, the sort of 20 years later thing. 6 I have not seen because by that time because 5 I was like, oh yeah, they're bringing it back. Oh, that's interesting. Let's have a look. 6 I was like, oh no, they're just going to keep making these things. And that's when they're in New York and they had Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega in it. And I didn't bother watching that one.
As they did in 5 as well.
As they did in 5, because they were supposed to be the new blood. then Israel invaded Palestine and went into the Gaza, Israel, and did the whole thing. Melissa Barrera said something in support of Gaza, so she got kicked off the film. And Jenna Ortega went, well, if she's getting kicked off, I'm getting kicked off. And they already had a script for Scream 7 that involved those two. And so they went, bring Neve Campbell back and pay her the money that we... because she wasn't in Scream 6. Because when they said they wanted to be in Scream 6, she said, pay me this much. And they said, no. So she said, well, in that case, I'm not going to be in it. And so obviously they've gone back and they've gone, sorry, we'll have all the money you want. And they've paid her what she's worth and they've brought her back for Scream 7 because due to politics that had nothing to do with the film, Scream 7, after Scream 6, it got messed up. So essentially, that's the whole thing. That's what to say. I've seen about 70% of them.
She does seem pretty smug throughout the film. Like I did wonder that. I wondered if she was like, I'm getting paid an mint for this. So she didn't. To me, she never felt any menace. She just looked like she was like chuffed as could possibly be.
They're not going to kill me off just in case they want a number 8 and they want a backup.
I've been paid a terrific sum for this.
It's like, I am way too important to be killed. So I'm like, this is lovely. Now imagine now I would have so much respect for Scream movies if in the meta way they commented on that while the film was going during the film. All right, cool. So that's what you thought. That's what you thought about the film. Not being that much about the Screaming aficionados or anything. So, how many stars did you give it?
Well, I'm going to first say it did an excellent job of jump scares. It was absolute nonsense. But it was always going to be absolute nonsense.
Yes.
I was looking for it to be anything other than absolute nonsense. And we got to the end of the film and we said, that was absolutely ridiculous. I loved it. So it is a film of nonsensical. I want to say joy. It doesn't feel like joy is the right word when lots of people are being
getting stabbed. Yeah,
yeah, and some. It's yeah, disemboweled and the like. But it is a really fun film.
Yeah. Splashes of blood everywhere.
Yeah, but good jump scares. Okay, we know I'm pathetic and I jump at everything, but they were really good jump scares.
Okay, cool. So how many stars?
I'm going to give it 3.
Sean?
For me, I'm probably going to give it because I wasn't that heavily invested in it, a 2.5. But I knew what to expect, so I can't be really that bad of it. So it's a 2.5 for me.
Yeah, but also, Sean, I mean, you are usually quite critical of horror movies, especially slasher movies, and it sounds like you are not as critical of this as you are with a lot of the other ones.
Well, I think I I agree with Holly a little bit. I went knowing what to expect. It's going to be stupid, so I didn't. I thought, I expected it to be what it was. So, but I wouldn't say I would have. I probably wouldn't have bothered if it wasn't for other people going.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
I definitely wanted to see it, knowing full well what it was going to be, which was lacking in profundity.
I think that's it, because obviously people have. I mean, I'm quite older, so I don't know what is it, 90s the Scream?
Yeah, 90s, 90, 96, I think the first one.
I was going to say 90, somewhere between 95 and 97.
Yeah. So I guess you guys would have been a nice age to see the.
Well, yeah, that was kind of like the go from school. That I was in A levels at that time. Yeah, 96. I was right. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. So that is 2.75 stars for Scream 7. And Sharon's just run away. I was about to ask her to tell us about the Night of Seven Kingdoms. But never mind. Okay, so I'll tell you what. Okay, Shaun, how about you? Okay, no, Sharon's back. All right. Okay, Sharon, tell us about Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yes, this is quite a short, compact little series in the Game of Thrones universe, so in Westeros universe, and it is set time-wise between the events of House of Dragon and the events of Game of Thrones. It's in that period when the Targaryens are still kings, but they've lost their last dragon. So they are not the force they once were, but they still are a powerhouse. So that's setting the scene. But the scene is, this story is like devolved down to a hedge knight. The main character is a guy called Dunk, or Duncan the Tall, Sir Duncan the Tall. And he is a hedge knight. And a hedge knight is someone who isn't tied to a house. Haven't sworn loyalty to a major house. They are an independent. They roam from place to place. They take up jobs when they need to. If there's a battle going on, they'll be like employed, as it were, as an independent who fights. Yeah. And they can join in tourneys, so they can do tournaments. They can fight in melees. They can do jousting and stuff, as long as they've got the means to support themselves. Because if you lose at a tourney, the person who defeats you can take your weapons and your horse and your armor, and then you have to basically ransom it back from them. So it can be a costly business, but it can be very rewarding. And Sir Dunk is going to a tourney to see if he can sort of, up his stakes by sort of increasing his personal fortune. And on the way, he meets this young lad who's working in a stable, a little lad called Egg, who becomes his squire. And the two of them are set off to this tournament, and this story is basically it's more or less like a week in the life of these two characters. It's quite a very small scale, all set around the events of this tournament. And there's one key event at this tournament that basically changes the history of, or the future of, Westeros, and it lays the path to what we know the events that will happen in
Game of Thrones.
So the seeds were set here. This is where the stone fell in the water, and those ripples are still felt 100 years later. So it becomes more significant than you think. It starts off as a small story, but it has that potential to sort of to grow. So I don't really want to give too much away, because some of the key characters are in there. But you do meet some of the key houses. You meet Targaryens, you meet Baratheons, Lannisters, and all of the other big houses are there, apart from some of the northern kingdoms. Yeah. So, and you hear snippets. So it's almost like taking that grand scale and then reducing it down to sort of this sort of more ground level. So it's not all about the royal houses and the big stately houses. It's about this one man's navigating his way through the world of Westeros.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the first scene to show exactly how ground level it is, which is somebody taking a dump by a tree in a field somewhere, and they're like, "Welcome." They're like, "Welcome. This is the Westeros we're talking about." So,
a bit more earthy.
Yeah, it's a bit more earthy. So, Shaun, what did you think?
Yeah, I really liked this. This wasn't big on action, well, except for like the ultimate one. But this wasn't hugely big on action, but it was more character driven, I think. And I really liked some of the characters. And as it went along, I think it was just the right. The episodes were quite short, weren't they? Well, they seemed
about 35 minutes.
About 35, 40 minutes, which was really, really good. And I'm not so sure the young lad was a terrifically good actor. I don't know what you thought on that, but the one who played Egg. But I thought the situations, especially the situations where he ended up, in the 7 or whatever. I thought that was quite well done, because I sort of believed that scene, that it was like, when you feel. And I really liked a bit. I don't know why, and I've thought about this lots of times. Then, like the Baratheon, he's been in the tournament. He goes, "Oh, I don't feel that." I thought that was when that little scene there when they take his armor off, and I was like, "Wow, that's really, really, really."
All right, so we're like really, really affecting or something.
Yeah, really. Yeah, well, really affecting. I just thought So I could believe it. I could believe that sort of thing could happen. With, let's. So yeah. So what things that happened in this, I thought weren't too silly. Do you know what I mean? Normally I can pick the silly things, even to the fact that you got to bear in mind this Sir Dunk is a pretty big guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's
called Sir Dunk the Tall. So
yeah. So
I think he's sort of a sort of antecedent of Brienne of Tarth, but that's what something I'm not.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's mentioned.
I think she's what his sort of great granddaughter or something.
Yeah. So I found this really good. I found myself really enjoying it, even though there wasn't huge amounts of action, was there? Really?
No, I liked it the same way. I think because it was compact, it was like a smaller scale, so you don't have to memorize all the houses and trying to work out who was who, and keep trying to keep track of everyone. A few times, because I don't know why, but I find sometimes speech on these things, I'm like, "What'd you say? What you saying?" So
no. You're not the only one. That happens quite. I get that quite often myself. Like you have to go and put on the subtitles and be like, okay. I guess that's what you said.
You say? Yeah, because there's one. I think I literally had to put the subtitles on because I'm thinking there was a lady with a prophecy, and she said, "You will be on," and I was like, "What'd you say?" So I went back to him. He was like, "You will be," blah, 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 blah. And I was like, "I missed it again." Subtitle. And then what she does say is actually quite key, but I was sort of, how it's like, "Come again?"
Yeah. I've had that. I mean, there's loads of talking about Shaun and his YouTube rabbit warrens that you go down. There's loads of videos that talk about why all of a sudden TV and film sound is so bad nowadays, where you can't hear it, that people mumble and everything like that, and you can't actually hear it that well. And you have to, and apparently some people just think, well, people are going to have the subtitles on anyway, so we might as well, if they're doing it for Netflix, and they don't bother about making sure everything can be heard. Yeah.
But for that particular scene, I thought, what she's saying is probably quite relevant. I need to know what she just said.
As happens to be the case with prophecies.
Yeah, and I was like, especially in the song of Ice and Fire, dreams, prophecies, all these things really are important. They tell the whole story. You just have to decipher them. So I thought, this is actually really important. I know what she says. But no, so I liked it. I thought it was good.
All right, cool. So how many stars would you both give it?
I'd give it a 4 for me.
I'm the same. I'd give it a 4.
Ooh, okay, cool. So 4 stars for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, a less wrought trip to Westeros than the last two that we have. Theme tune, do they use the same old da 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 da?
Not to the same degree, no.
All right, cool, good, because I heard that again today, and I thought, man, that's a great tune.
There were echoes in there. I think there were.
It was like a little. Yeah,
but it wasn't full on.
Because it's not the same in House of the Dragon. They different music too, reminiscent.
That's coming out soon, isn't it? And they're the next series. When's that? I can't wait.
I'm literally.
The thing is, I just stopped with Game of Thrones after the final episode of Game of Thrones. I just kind of like, no, everything else is just them trying to make more money, which I guess is what all TV is. But for some reason, I took offense to it. Right, cool. Now let's go and talk about The Bride. We're going back to cinemas, and we're going to talk about The Bride. Now, let's see. This was Shaun and Sharon who saw this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Shaun, how about you fire over and you tell us what the Bride is about?
Right, well, I'll let Sharon give you a bit more of the story, but all I can say, this is like just chaos. It's chaotic. Right up my street, right up my avenue, just what I like, all over the place. I know. So, yeah. Sharon, if you tell the story, and then I'll just say my feelings afterwards, if that's cool, and you can. That's all right.
Okay,
I'll just go on about all the bits, so I know what it's about. So, because there's just so much in it. There's so much. I love it. Everything I loved about it.
Trying to unravel it, yeah. But it starts off with Mary Shelley. You meet Mary Shelley, and she's in some sort of purgatory, and she reaches out for basically like a kindred soul, and she finds this kindred soul in a lady called Ida, who's living in 1930s New York. She's mixed up with sort of like the gangs there. She's sort of a bit of a police informer, so she's walking a dangerous path. And she's in this sort of dangerous situation. And basically, Mary Shelley reaches out and possesses her. That same evening, she is murdered. And also that same evening, the creature, Frankenstein's creature, makes his way to Chicago and to find another doctor who is a resurrectionist, the same way that Dr. Frankenstein was, that they take the dead and they resurrect them or reanimate them.
Yeah.
And he has gone to her on his ageless quest, the quest that still existed in the book, but that he's lonely. He wants companionship. He wants a bride. He wants a mate. And he goes to her and says, "Look, find me. I need something because I've been on my own for 110 years. I need something. Help me." Yeah. And they find her body, and so they resurrect her body, and she then becomes the bride. But she has like these sort of dual personalities fighting inside herself. She's got Mary Shelley, and she's also got her own her Ida, who was like this complicated character.
Yeah. So that I really, really loved, and I thought she was so good at suddenly switching. That was, to me, that was like, oh, this is great.
This is Jessie.
You could
Jessie
go
Buckley.
from a Brooklyn accent to a proper upper class British accent, like just
early British, not just modern British. It's But, and the language, the syntax, the rhythm of the speech. It's like, this is not just. It was good.
Yeah. So okay, can I just check? So, in this world, and this is probably the point where you were talking about being all over the place. In this world, Mary Shelley exists. Mary Shelley, who, if anybody doesn't know, is the actual original author of the novel Frankenstein. Yes. So in this world, Mary
dead.
She's dead. She's dead. Yeah, but she existed at some point in this world.
Yeah.
I guess that she wrote Frankenstein, but there is actually a Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Like Frankenstein's monster.
But he is real. He is real.
But he is real. So she wrote a document. Okay, cool. Okay. I just want to check it.
And this has got nods to all the other sons. So I think the creature, he's got Boris Karloff looks. He's got Lee looks. He's got Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell looks. He's got like a little bit of every Frankenstein adaptation that I've seen. Yeah. So he's got all. And he's got the looks. And she even does the Elsa Lanchester, where she's got like the bride that goes.
The hair and the hair.
And she's got that jerky movement like bit. So, and then you've got when they go into the dance routines and they're going to the cinema and all that stuff.
What's different about this particular creature of Frank? He's called Frank in this. Let's just call him Frank. So what's different about Frank in this is that he's become really obsessed with cinema, music, like Fred Astaire type cinema, and he's like learned all the dances, and he imagines himself on the stage dancing like the Fred Astaire dancers because he loves to have that. He's a romantic at heart. He wants to have that sweeping romance where he can dance.
I actually quite like that idea.
that's played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who is like this silent, this sort of Fred Astaire-esque character who sings and dances and acts a little, that sort of thing.
Because Reggie's after a name, it's like Ginger or
What's my name? What's my name? I will go about themes as well, but that's the story, isn't it? But there are there's some deep themes in here that I'd like to explore.
Yes, we need a lot more time on this movie. A lot.
Okay, all right.
We need you to go and see it, and we need to have a respect on this. And Holly, you need to go and see it because.
Okay. So I'll tell you what we do. We will all attempt to see The Bride, and then we will come back and we'll do like a big deep dive, spoilers and everything on The Bride itself.
Because there's one scene at the end I thought was slightly clunky. They introduce a picture phrase, a 2-word phrase. They use it twice, and I felt, to me, that was a little.
I've heard of this. And people have said that it's a bit too on the nose for the themes of the film.
Because the film is all there. It's all there. You don't need to say that to make it like obvious.
No,
it's like there's a couple of things running through. I'd like to talk about it, but I don't want to sort of preempt what you're going to see if you're going to see it.
Okay,
go see it and we can discuss it.
All right, I'm actually quite happy to hear this because all the reviews I've heard of this film so far, I was planning on not seeing it in the cinemas. But
it's a real. I mean, I've actually looked, and it's a real polarizing film, isn't it? It's a real. I can understand why.
I think it's a bit of a Marmite film. I think you'd probably love it or you'd hate it.
Sorry, and you, Sharon, cut you off there. You said, and I love it. Was it good?
I love it. I'm down on the love it side. Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's some themes about female identity that I think really spoke to me as well. Again with Mary Shelley, because she goes through her names at one point. Mary, named after my mother. Wollstonecraft, my mother's name. Shelley, my husband, and it's all about finding a name and identity is key in this, and also about female identity. There's a lot of feminism, and there's a lot of there's another theme I would like. I'll leave out, but
okay. So
I'm just going to say one little thing, and then we go right because I really like the Igor type character in that.
Oh, there's an Igor.
Not really.
It's equivalent. So really giving nods to the classics. So okay, the question before you give me would you say see this in the cinema or see? I mean, you've already told us, but would you say see it in the cinema or see it? Wait until it comes on streaming.
This is cinema for me. Yeah. Cinema.
Yeah, okay. It's okay. 100% cinema, 100% cinematic.
Immersive, yeah.
Really immersive. And also, how many stars would you give it?
So for me, apart from which I agree, the thing that we spoke about at the end, which was too on the nose, too like, why put that in there? It wasn't needed. So, but I'm still going to give this a 4.25.
4.25.
We are mentally connected tonight.
I knew you loved this, Sharon. When I saw it, I was so pleased when you said you were going to see it because I mean, the switch at the vocabulary. He says you've got a wonderful vocabulary. And to me that's like bang. I thought this is Sharon's film. Good, because I was worried that you might not like it.
No. I was there. I was within. It was quite a short space of time actually. I was like, at the beginning, I was a bit like, what's this?
Yeah.
But like, you're speaking to me, and I'm listening, and I liked it.
Okay, cool, good stuff. And also, because I didn't ask, Holly and Shaun, Scream 7. Would you see it in the cinemas or wait until it shows up on streaming? Screaming. It shows up on streaming.
You could watch this on streaming with like about 300,000 other movies.
Yeah, I think it's going to be better for jump scares if you see it in the cinema because that's more immersive and you're not going to be scrolling on your phone at the same time. But it doesn't have the profundity that requires the cinema.
All right, cool. And now let's go. Let's see if we can race through the last three things that we have. Dracula, a love story.
Oh, I can talk fast about this.
Okay, so tell us about this.
Okay, so it is yet another retelling of Dracula with
Frankenstein and Dracula in the same show.
With the 16th century, they call him 15th century. Right, might have been 50. I'm not going to argue with that unduly. With a genuine historical figure in Transylvania who was the Prince of Wallachia, and he had lots of battles with the Turks and
Vlad the Impaler.
Vlad the Impaler protect Europe from the Ottoman invasion. It's actually quite interesting bit of history there if you want to delve into it. This goes along the usual routes, loosely based upon the novel by Bram Stoker. Dracula's beloved wife, whom he is absolutely obsessed with, is killed by the invading Ottomans, and at this point he despairs of life, rejects God, and becomes a vampire. Ta-da! In modern times, which in this case is 19th century France, with characters with slightly different names, a young somebody or other professional goes to see Dracula, who has spent years searching for the closest version of his lost love he can possibly find, and he's seducing women all around the world using a weird perfume. It's quite bizarre. There is a connection in with one.
It's Luc Besson. It's going to be bizarre.
I mean, it's thoroughly illogical, also vaguely logical. But he is on a quest to find his beloved, and discovers that his beloved is the fiance of the bloke whose name isn't Jonathan Harker. Who is in fact French, who has come to see him, and off he heads to Paris to find the woman who looks to be the embodiment of his long lost love.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with some spoilers here. I don't care.
It's Dracula, so I mean, if it's based on the book,
she realizes that their relationship. She falls in love with him. It happens in Dracula, loosely in the novel, loosely speaking. They head back to his castle. Stuff happens that bears very little resemblance to the book or previous adaptations. There are gargoyles, animated, moving around gargoyles. I don't know why. For
Luc Besson!
I was not paying sufficient attention to understand, because it is not sufficiently good to warrant that much attention, but it is perfectly watchable and thoroughly ridiculous. And yes, stuff happens. There is an ending. It is a version of a gazillion different versions of Dracula.
So let me check. This stars Caleb Landry Jones as Dracula.
Yes.
To my knowledge, he isn't French. Is this in French or English?
It is in English.
Okay, cool.
My film is in English, so there's no translation issues. Most of the cast appear to be from the Anglosphere, and there are definitely some Italians in there and all sorts, because there are apparently some Italian characters in there. I don't expect it to bear a great resemblance to the book.
Well, the thing is, I feel like Luc Besson's thing is like usually he'll have one name person in it and then fill it up with a whole bunch of other people that you might not recognize. Well, definitely not in Hollywood, you wouldn't recognize them.
No,
but his films will most likely be European productions, which means that there's going to be people from all around Europe who he will shove in the film.
Which he does successfully, and it is a well shot, I'm going to say pretty, but also very ugly film, because obviously, it's not meant to be. We are not
like Scream.
Consistently beautiful characters. It's another variation. It does not bear a great deal of resemblance to the actual book, but I didn't expect it to. The only one vaguely done that was the
Bram Stoker's Dracula
version. Yeah,
the Coppola one. Right. So cool. So it's not Nosferatu, but how many stars would you give it?
I'm going to give it 2.5.
2.5.
An absolutely fine, perfectly watchable film. I don't even know if it's been on in the cinema.
If it was very, very limited. It was very limited because I think, but
Who stars in it? Who stars in it? Who's the actor?
Caleb Landry Jones.
Yes.
Shaun, I mean, if you would have seen him in things. You would have seen him in things.
No, I know Caleb Jones. I think he was in a review I did like ages ago called Dogman.
Yes, he was. He was in that.
Yeah,
he was in that.
He's quite good. I think I quite liked him in a few things.
Yeah. He's a very weird presence. So
yes.
Did
I see you, Toes? Did I see you with an underwater camera holder?
Yes, you did see me with an underwater camera holder.
Yeah, just
You did see me with an underwater camera.
Random.
Yeah, that's just me fidgeting. It's my usual fidgets. Oh, it's got Christoph Waltz in it as well.
Yeah, I mean it's got a recognisable cast. It's not as good as you would like to think, given the cast.
Wasn't Christoph Waltz in Nosferatu?
Was he? Oh, I need to watch that film. I really need to watch that. I still haven't seen Nosferatu. I still need to watch that. All right, cool. All right,
maybe I'm confusing him with someone else.
Right, and now let's go back to cinema and let us talk Mother's Pride. Sharon, please take it away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this didn't take too long. This is a little British film. One of those quirky little ones that pops up every now and then and joins the ranks of similar quirky little British films.
Rastoff, The Full Monty, Fisherman's Friends.
Yeah, and they have sort of the plucky underdog type story. And this plucky underdog at this occasion is a young man who's a musician who's gone away to sort of make himself, famous and fulfill all his dreams. He comes home because those dreams didn't turn out to be quite the way he wanted. And he's gone back to his family pub, which is called the Drover's Arms. And it's a freehold, so their family have owned it for a number of generations, but it is on hard times. They're not getting the customers. The family have been in crisis since their mother died recently. And so they're just basically barely hanging on in there. And when he returns home, he discovers in the basement his granddad's old brewing kit and his notes on how to make the perfect ale. And so they set themselves a task of creating the most perfect, delicious, authentic Somerset ale. And they decide that they're going to enter the campaign for real ale competition in their region and stick it to the man who happens to be in a pub opposite, and it's owned by sort of Lord Snooty, who owns a whole branch of pubs and wants to basically put them out of business. And there's all sorts of tangled sub-themes and a cast of, characters, as you find in these British films that you wouldn't actually ever meet. But they all seem to inhabit by the thousand in these sort of films. So it's a jolly enough romp. They do make this ale and things happen and they go on to enter this competition. And I won't tell you how the competition ends.
Oh.
Because you probably know from the opening scene. But it's one of
Well, is it like it starts off and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna get my pipe and slippers because I know exactly what this is gonna be.
Yeah, there's going to be moments of peril, but it's going to, not much, a little bit. But it's got some character actors like Mark Aday's in it. It's got Martin Clunes.
Him from the In-Betweeners, James Buckley, I think. Yeah.
James Buckley. He plays the older, I'm not quite sure, bearded brother. There's a bit of Morris dancing in it. Hey. So that's your tick. Colourful characters, tick. Lord Snooty, tick. So it does all the. Yeah.
I did read something where it says that this film is set in a fantasy England.
Yes. Oh yes. Yeah, where the sun always shines and there's all, doing country folk type stuff. So yes, it was. You know what you're getting. It was harmless and entertaining, and it was enjoyable for what it was. I mean, you don't go in there thinking this is going to be really challenging and I'm going to come away, transformed in my psyche. You just go in there, sit back, relax, let it wash over you, and enjoy it. So for what it was fun. I would say. Can be watched at home. You don't need to watch it at the cinema, but you enjoy it wherever you watched it. If you just put your feet up, let it wash over you, enjoy it. Fun. There's some laughs in it. There was some. We enjoyed it. So I would say yes, it's a 3.25. 3. It's solid. Does what it's supposed to do. It'll be forgotten within a couple of years.
Is it a Film 4 movie?
It's the sort of thing that will end up on Film 4.
Film 4, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was about to say. Everything you were saying, I was like, and just imagine like the logo coming up beforehand, saying like Film 4 presents, and you're like, oh yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure because it's one of those ones. We talked about this last week. It's a so and so production with so and so production with so and so. Oh yeah. There's about sort of 10 of them, so they might have been in there. But it's like
no, apparently Film 4 is not in there. But yeah, you're right. There's Fred Films, there's Moose Studios, there's Principal Film Finance. none of which I've heard from before, and it was distributed by Entertainment Film Distributors. I think I've heard of them before.
So I'm all for supporting the British film industry. You know, if they churn out some things that's sort of a bit similar, well, you know, all more power to them. Let's keep doing it as long as. And one day you suddenly get that really one that really resonates with the public. But it was fun. But yeah, for me it was a 3.25. So enjoyable, but you know, it is what it is.
Sorry, I just went on, and there's 10 production companies that came together to make this film.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Let's hope they get their money back from it.
It won't be like a blockbuster in the States, though, I suppose.
It might be because it depending on how much they like England. Every now and then, one of these small English films, they just go, "Oh, English is so lovely and twee." Okay, so 3.25 for Mother's Pride. Although, quickly, Sharon, you mentioned stuff about music and you mentioned stuff about small English stories, and I was wondering, have you seen The Ballad of Wallace Island yet?
I keep trying to find it on a streaming site.
It's on Apple TV. It's on Apple TV Plus.
I've got Apple TV Plus. Why won't it? I'm going to go and find it because I do want to watch that.
Okay, cool. And also, did you watch any more of Madam?
I watched another episode.
Yep.
And I'm slightly morally conflicted. I
No
can see
problem.
it's entertaining, and I could see that it was well done for what it was. But part of me is still thinking, as a life choice,
I'm not sure I agree with this. Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's something I'm like, because you want to root for them, and it's like when one of the characters is like, "Oh, I'm not sure whether I want to do this," I'll go, "Yeah, go for it," and I'm thinking, "Yeah, go for it." I'm thinking, "Go for it." I'm meant to think I'm going to become a prostitute. Yeah. So I was a little bit conflicted about that morally. So I'm thinking I might stick it out and watch the rest just to see how it progresses.
It's okay. No pressure for this. I was personally morbidly curious to see how you would react to it. So like that was it. That was all. All right, cool. And now let us go on to Sharon. I think it's you again. The Taste of Things. You did see this, right?
I did see this.
Okay, yeah. So let's go.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, this is film I saw on iPlayer, streaming on the iPlayer, because I often go streaming through those things because they find films that came and went to the cinema and you missed them. So this is a Juliette Binoche film in French with subtitles, and she is a gifted to the point of almost like a genius cook. She can transform the most simple dishes into sort of works of art, and every element of the meals she prepares, she sort of pours love into it. So that it's not just the food that you eat; it's the preparation. It's all about and the first, I would say, probably 20 minutes is her preparing one meal. You see it almost like in every detail how you see her just like preparing the vegetables and then preparing all the dishes, and every dish is like love. And it's filmed this sort of like gastronomic sort of like
when this film was released, the word food porn was passed around quite liberally.
Absolutely, yeah. That I didn't think of that expression, but that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's sort of yes, it's sort of. It's not Saturday Morning Kitchen, let's put it that way. But they really sort of like ooze over all these things.
It's like Nigella Plus.
Yes, sort of, they're sort of everything is sort of all the meat is like everything is like lovingly caressed, and they're well in there. And I worked with alongside this gastronomy. It's sort of talking about it sort of mirrors the relationships, how the love and care that she puts into this sort of the food, it translates to how she feels about who she's preparing it for. So every dish she lovingly prepares, it sort of translates that this is how she feels about the person she's preparing it for and with. And she's in this relationship with a man that she refuses to marry, but he is the love of her life, but she does not want to be tied. She wants that sort of freedom that a single woman can have. So she'd rather be his lover than be his wife, because that would change her status. So she likes her independence. She likes being the cook. So it's about her sort of claiming her identity and being what she wants to be. She wants to be the best cook that she can possibly be. And she feels that even though she loves him, by being his wife, it would like take away that element of, this is my craft. I don't want to just be,
Yeah.
Another
rich man's wife.
Yeah, so it follows the story of so you see it through her eyes, and then it's quite a long film, 2.5 hours long. and it sort of follows the pattern of her life and the seasons of her life and the seasons of through the food, tells a story. So it's almost like a feast for the eyes.
Yeah, this is not a film that I was expecting to have too much of a plot.
No,
Yeah.
no. There are, I mean, I could sort of tell you the whole plot in like 5 minutes, really, but less than 5 minutes. I only have 5 minutes to review the whole thing. So it's it's a slow film, and it's sort of like lovingly made, and the way they've made the meals in it. So it's hard to describe who it's for, really. But it is a historic film. It's set in sort of the beginning, I suppose, the end of the Victorian age. It's when they know that. I don't know what French
the French equivalent is,
the equivalent of Victoria's reign. Is it the Belle Epoque, or just before that? It's that sort of period, the late sort of 18th, 19th century, and it's sort of in the country, and how it's really sort of these rigid social structures, and it's a slice of life in sort of rural France at this period of time, told through the medium of food and the preparation of food.
1871 to 1914, it is Belle Epoque.
Belle Epoque.
All right, cool. So what did you think about, how many stars would you give it?
I would be conservative with this. I'd probably give it a 3.5. I thought it was good, gorgeous to look at, but I found it a bit slow. At 2.5 hours long, I found it a little bit too long and a little bit too slow in its pacing. And as someone who is not a great foodie, when I'm 20 minutes of watching a meal being prepared is a bit too much for me. And so by the time you saw them eating it, I was a bit like, it's making me feel a bit queasy now. So I didn't love that aspect of it, but it was beautifully shot, and it was all the actors that played their part really well. So it was a feast for the eyes, but you have to have patience with it and a strong stomach, because look, seeing all food that close up, being sort of like fondled and then eaten sort of quite in a French manner. You feel a little bit.
You like their food, they're French.
It's like food being filmed in a French manner.
Does this does it have resonance with the food in Wuthering Heights?
Not quite so oozy as that.
Because I think one of the most food porny films I think I've seen is Chef with Jean Favreau. And that essentially, don't watch that film if you haven't eaten.
Sometimes you want to wash your hands just by watching it, don't you? I think I need to go wash my hands after watching that.
All right, cool. So that brings us to the end of our reviews for this week. And the only thing that's left to ask is, who do you think has won this week? Netflix or cinema?
Cinema.
Yeah. I'm a bit torn, but yeah, let's go cinema.
Okay, cool. I mean, that was a very, very, very confident cinema from Shaun. I'll let you know that there is 0.1 of a star between cinema and Netflix this week. And
overly confident.
What?
Overly confident Harris.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He was right to be overly confident because it was cinema. It was cinema. But yeah, take that 0.1 confidence is still confidence. Shall we say? All right, cool. So that's it. Until next week, when we know we will be coming back and talking to you about Hoppers. We'll be talking to you about Wonder Man. We'll be talking to you about Fallout 2. Do find us online. Find us online on our YouTube channel. Find us in our Instagram page. Find us on TikTok. And because I'm going to put some of these shorts up, and we'll see, because I've realized over the last couple of weeks, whenever I put up a short, it's usually me talking. And so this week, I have not reviewed anything. So I have not reviewed anything this week. So I'm going to see exactly how bad my bias is and whether I still manage to find bits of me talking to put up as shorts.
And normally it's bits of me with an expression sort of doing this.
I've got grimaces that remind me of my grandmother.
Sharon, there's
the one time I've scratched or something, I'm like doing that.
there's a secret screening on Monday, I think, and a secret screaming on Tuesday. So
okay, I'll have to see. We haven't got the dog. We're handing the dog back.
Ooh.
ceremoniously
Goodbye, Muffin.
at the weekend. So I have to see.
I'll send you clips of the cartoon Muffin's best bits. So, but anyway, until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me.
Thank you very much for joining us.